Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that's Connor, and this is our weekly TV news roundup discussion thing that we do. I don't know. We ramble on for a fair bit of time about everything that we've found out during the week, and just generally kind of ramble because it's the end of the week, and we're usually tired by this point.
And drinking.
And yeah, Connor's drinking. Yeah, there's a decent amount of news this week. Actually, when I was first putting this together, I thought, oh, there's not a lot, but by the time I finished, there was like, it's a reasonable amount.
I swear this happens like every week.
Yeah, I always think it's less than normal, and then by the time I actually finish, I'm like, oh, actually, it's a reason. That said, though, it's definitely less than a lot of the previous weeks.
Look, I'm just going to ask right now, is there any news on my Mermaid War show?
Unfortunately, there is not.
Right, we're done here, guys. Let's pack it up.
In brighter news, though, we do have 2 or 3 untitled things, so we get to play a game
Okay, I'll allow it.
where we get to guess the titles of untitled shows. So, we're going to have a bit of fun with that. And there's a bunch of new shows to talk about and a couple of other tidbits first. So let's get cracking into it. First up, some DC comic TV news. 2 things, one of which is pretty simple. We actually already mentioned it when we talked about Legends of Tomorrow on this week's review. But we have a new cast member who's now going to be recurring, and she's going to play Lily Stein, which is Martin Stein's new daughter, which was due to a bit of time travel shenanigans. He now has a fully grown daughter. Christina Brucato has been cast in that role, and she's now a recurring member of the cast. So I just wanted to quickly mention it. I don't have to talk about it, just throw it out there.
Yeah, basically, if you've been watching it, you've already seen her.
Exactly. And the other bit of news, a little bit more interesting, came out today, is that later on this season in Supergirl, after Christmas, we're going to be getting 2 episodes featuring Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Ooh,
Did you not see this?
I did not. I've been at work all day.
Oh, there you go. Mr. Mxyzptlk coming for 2 episodes, Supergirl.
2 episodes as well. Oh, that's great stuff.
Specific. But I guess means it's a 2-parter.
Yeah, I'd assume so. I mean, we had some stuff with like a few villains last year that were, built up over a couple of episodes. But with Mr. I'd imagine it's a 2-parter.
Either that, or maybe like the second one's the main one, but the first one's just like there's like lots of little weird things going on, and we see him, just like manipulate.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with the character, he's from the 5th dimension, and he can basically warp reality, and he's more of a jokester than anything else. He likes to typically put Superman in like these weird worlds, and like weird things are happening just to mess with his head, and it's kind of
basically shenanigans ensue.
Shenanigans, and Supergirl reacting to weird stuff sounds like a good time to me, so I'm okay with this. I wonder who's going to play him.
That's a good question.
I wonder who's going to play him. But yeah, I wanted to mention those. And the other bit of news before we get to new shows to talk about is a couple of bit more casting for Star Trek Discovery. 2 more cast members have been added with some brief character descriptions. One is fairly kind of well known. Doug Jones was in the Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
He does a lot of like stuff in suits and mocap and that kind of thing.
Prosthetics, right?
Yeah, prosthetics, a lot of that kind of thing. He's going to be playing an alien. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be a new species of alien that's never been in Star Trek before, and he is a Starfleet science officer called Lieutenant Saru.
Cool.
The other one is Anthony Rapp, who I'm not familiar with, but he is going to play Lieutenant Stamets, or Stamets, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he is a... Oh, God, I'll try and pronounce this word. He's an astromycologist.
All right.
Which he's a fungus expert. So I don't know if that word just means the study of fungi.
Which is weird, because astro, you assume space.
Maybe it's space fungus. Maybe it's like space bacteria and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'll probably butchered that word. It's not a science speciality I've encountered before, so apologies.
That's a profession I can get behind.
Yeah.
Space fungus.
So he's also a Starfleet science officer, and they specifically mentioned that he's aboard the Discovery, which makes me think that Lieutenant Saru is not on Discovery.
We got a bit more from last week, though, right? With Michelle Yeoh says she's a captain, because last week we didn't have a role for her.
Yeah, when they first announced it, they didn't say what she was, but it's important that she's not actually part of the Discovery either. It's kind of weird though. We've got 3 cast members, and 2 of them. At least it sounds like the first one here, Saru. It sounds like he's not on the ship because they specify that the second one is.
Yeah.
So But yeah, Michelle Yeoh's character is a captain on another ship or a space station.
Which makes me think Saru is on that ship.
Possibly.
Starship Senju. Senju?
Given though that we've got two for not on the ship, it makes me feel like that place will also be equally important, and it won't just be the ship this time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, just from what they're casting already, unless they're really saving all the really important roles for secrecy. I don't know.
They could well be. We have no idea.
Because it is worth mentioning that Michelle Yeoh was listed as recurring and not a regular.
All right, okay.
So
that is worth noting, because that implies she's not in all of them.
Yeah, it does. So no, but yeah, but the Star Trek cast are starting to fill out a little bit.
Yeah, I also saw. Was it Stamets? He's the one that's going to be the first openly gay character.
Yeah, he's the second character we talked about there.
Yeah.
He's the first openly gay one. So
yeah, which obviously we knew was coming because they told us a while ago.
Yeah, that was like back when we get the first details of like there'll be an alien, there'll be a gay character, there'll be like they kind of give us some vague kind of descriptors.
But now we can kind of place the pieces a little bit better.
Yeah, so he a gay astromycologist, fungus expert. That's Lieutenant Stamets in a nutshell. It's a hell of a description, I'm not going to lie.
It's very memorable.
So yeah, that's some Star Trek Discovery news, which does lead us on to some new shows. So we'll get some comedies first. I always like to start with the half-hour comedies.
Aye. Get the nonsense out of the way.
Yeah, so first up we have an untitled single-camera comedy from Fox. It's going to be starring comedian Trey Crowder, who's best known for his onstage persona, the liberal redneck. Never heard of him myself, no. Oh. But in this show, he's basically playing a character that's based on his liberal redneck kind of persona. So it's kind of based on that idea. He returns to his conservative Tennessee hometown to start a job at an energy research facility with his Californian wife. So it'll be him being kind of liberal and progressive in a fairly non-progressive town. That seems like the humour that's coming from that.
I can almost just see them calling it the liberal redneck.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see them calling it that.
Just it depends, unless there's some sort of reason that the rights are tied up to that character.
Maybe. I don't know. How about clean white trash?
It's not awful.
I don't know. As for if I'm interested, could be good. I don't know.
It feels like it's going to be really stereotypical, though.
It feels like it will be, yeah. But then again, it isn't CBS, so that gives me a little bit of hope that it maybe will be a little bit better than that.
Touché.
Not to throw CBS under the bus, but CBS just lie in front of the bus themselves. They walk out onto the road, lie down peacefully, and just await the bus to hit them.
Sure, no. They're worse than that. They go onto the train tracks and tie themselves to the train tracks.
I was sticking with the bus metaphor, but
I
sure.
know, but I'm going like that's how getting hit by a train. It's got to be worse than a bus, right?
No, because a train you'll definitely die instantly, whereas a bus, I feel like there's a chance you'll survive for a little while and like be in agony.
You mean like CBS do to us?
Yeah.
They're throwing us under the bus.
Whereas if a train hits you, especially if it's full speed, especially if you're lying on the tracks, you're just going to be eviscerated like immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas a bus, depending on the speed, you might survive that, and you might be just lying there bleeding out and like twitching and all sorts.
Good point.
We really care about this show. We're talking about how you how you might survive a bus attack. So that's
a bus attack. This isn't just an accident now. This is an attack. You made it sound like a bear. Like it's going to come out of the wild and surprise you and go, there's a bus.
A wild bus appears.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Let's move on. So that usually I wrap up these news stories by saying that's this thing, but this didn't have a title, so that's this comedy. So the next comedy we've got to talk about is an actor, comedian, musician named Mxyzptlk is set to co-write and executive produce a new show called Holy Shit for ABC. Now the shit is censored. It's got a little, little asterisk.
It always is.
But it does make me wonder how they're going to like when they advertise this on TV, it's just going to be like, holy bleep. Like,
Well, they did it with a "Don't trust the bitch" in Apartment 23. They just said "Don't trust the bee."
yeah, they did. Which,
So I imagine.
I think that one's especially stupid though, because like bitch feels like it's even less of a, like.
Yeah,
That
but that's the thing. It's like it's just into territory of questionable.
Well, yeah, well, at least, but they can still say bitch though on the show if they want to. Like, they can still say that on network TV, whereas shit, they can't.
That's a good point. And also, you can't just say "holy s."
You can't, it sounds stupid. Whereas some people will say B instead of bitch sometimes. That's just, sometimes people just do that to make it a bit more, I don't know.
PG.
Not even PG, just variable. Like,
Yeah.
like, I've heard someone say she's such a B, but not because they're censoring themselves, just because they're being a millennial, I guess.
Hipster trash.
Hipster trash. Yes. So I don't know. Anyway, it's called Holy Shit. It is a workplace comedy. One of the producers is Mila Kunis. I don't think she's got much of an involvement in it, but her production company's.
Cool.
By the way, one of the things that I've learned doing this news every week is that there's so many actors who happen to just be a part of a production company that produce things, because it feels like every week there's, this actor is executive producing this show because they've got a production company. I'm like,
Do you know what it is? I'm convinced that they don't even put any money towards it. The production company pays them to have their name.
Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? Just to be associated with them.
Like, because you go, this comes from Mila Kunis. So you've got someone, a recognisable name, you go, it's from them. It's not. They've just paid to use her name. I'm sure that's what happens.
Yeah. Anyway, Holy Shit follows the staff of a struggling church, which, by the way, makes the title really funny. I have to admit, it's about a church, so the title Holy Shit is actually kind of good. Like,
That's actually quite good, actually. Yeah.
I'll give them props for that. Holy Shit follows the staff of a struggling church and their edgy new pastor, played by the previously mentioned Nick Thune, as they fight to survive in the modern world. Incredibly vague, but the title's kind of got me sold.
I'm kind of down for that, actually.
It's a show set in a church called Holy Shit, and they've got an edgy new pastor who, I don't know, it won't be Father Ted. Nothing is going to top Father Ted when it comes to religious comedy.
No, there will never be a better priest-based comedy than Father Ted.
Yeah. But probably, maybe better than Vicar of Dibley. Vicar of Dibley's not that great. It's only okay.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, actually. It's all right. It's not bad, but...
And the Americans are like, what the hell are you talking about? What are these shows? Father Ted is a phenomenal Irish sitcom from the 90s, based in Ireland with three priests who are kind of like on this, what's called Craggy. I was going to call this Craggy Little Island. It's called Craggy Island. Yeah. It's this little, basically, shithole where they've been shipped off because they're the worst priests, in
the country, basically.
In the country, yeah. And it's their sort of misadventures, and one of them's a complete idiot. The other one's just kind of out for himself, and one's a drunk, and it's hilarious. It's from the same creator who did the IT Crowd.
Yes, and at this time of year, we're in December now. If you're never going to watch it, and you're not even going to show you kind of commit to watching it all, whatever, just watch the Christmas episode. It's one of my favourite Christmas specials of all time. It's fantastic.
But it's only got 3 seasons, and they're only 6 episodes or so long each.
So just watch it all, yeah, basically.
Yeah, watch all of it. You get through it in a weekend. But it's worth checking out. It's really funny. There's an episode called Speed 3, where they do a speed, as in the movie Speed type style plot with a milk float, except instead of being 50 miles per hour, it's only 5 miles per hour, and it's hilarious. I thoroughly recommend Father Ted.
It's a fantastic comedy.
But let's move on. So that's the comedies. Let's move on to some kind of interesting dramas. I have to admit, the first couple of these.
Okay. I wasn't expecting anything remotely interesting tonight.
So Cinemax has picked up a 6-episode series. It's a limited series, so no season 2, anything like that. It's a co-production actually with BBC One.
Okay.
Enough. It's called Relic, which is actually Killer backwards. And the reason for this is because the show is actually, it's the story of a serial killer told backwards.
Huh.
Right? So the killer will be revealed at the beginning of the show, and the thriller drama is said to offer a surprising take as it traces back the killer's story. So
you start at the end of the killings, or maybe the start of the killings, and you follow why he became that?
I guess. I don't think they're specific enough to really place it, because part of me's thinking, so is it like Memento, where it actually goes backwards, or is some of the story still moving forwards, but we're going back with flashbacks maybe as we go?
I almost feel like they'll start at the end, but the investigation will go backwards. They won't start at the start. They'll kind of follow it So we'll move forward in the investigation because we want to figure it out, or actually catch him.
But the flashbacks of him being a killer will go backwards.
Yeah, and it'll kind
Yeah.
of get like his motivation. Why did he become a killer? What's he doing it for? You know, and it'll kind of reveal layers as it goes on.
Yeah. It's only 6 episodes. Sounds interesting.
Cinemax have earned some credit as well.
Yeah, because Quarry was fantastic. So, no, I'm down
Yeah,
for this.
and Outcast was pretty great too.
Cast was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
I like BBC,
yeah.
and it's got a pretty cool idea. So yeah, I'm down for this.
Yeah. Sounds good. Next up, TNT is developing a crime drama, a period piece as well, called The Alienist. And it's cast a couple of fairly big names. Luke Evans is going to be in it, as is Daniel Brühl.
Okay.
So, you know those names, you'll know who I'm talking about. Daniel Brühl, of course, was in Captain America Civil War, he was in Rush, he was in Inglourious Bastards. Luke Evans was recently in the Hobbit movies and various other things. I feel like he's in a lot of period pieces. He seems like the sort of guy who's constantly in...
He is like the male equivalent of Keira Knightley.
Yeah, it feels that way. But, so yeah, Brühl will play the titular alienist, a doctor who studies deviant behaviours, Dr. Laszlo Kreisler, whose efforts to understand what turns a man into a murderer may help shed some light on his own trauma. Evans will play John Moore, a melancholy illustrator from the New York Times who finds himself dragged into his friend Laszlo's work. Set in 1896 New York, Laszlo and John are enlisted by the newly appointed NYPD Commissioner Teddy Roosevelt to investigate a series of murders of boy prostitutes. A crew of other social outcasts, including Roosevelt's female secretary, join Laszlo and John to help catch one of New York's first ever serial killers.
You know, I'm not always down for crime dramas.
But this one
That
sounds
sounds
pretty
pretty good.
Yeah, it does sound
Yeah.
good. I think the idea that it's like male prostitute killings, but at this far back, you know, like at this time period, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like a really dark style story in a setting, and especially since New York was a relatively new place, I guess, at this time, you know, because it says it's the first serial killer. I don't know when New York was founded. I have no idea.
I mean, I think it was around before that, but I mean, America as a whole is what, 200 and something years old.
Yeah, it's not an old place.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sounds good. I'm down for this. The idea of this sort of ragtag group of people trying to like catch the first serial killer in New York.
And a solid cast as well, so should be some good performances to carry it, which is often integral for these sorts of stories.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised, if I'm honest, that Daniel Brühl is not the killer. Like,
That'll be the twist.
maybe it could be, but like, as soon as they said him and serial killer, I'm like, oh, I bet it's him. But he's like, oh no, he's the main guy. Try to like track him down. Fair enough. Okay, but no, I think that sounds quite good.
Yeah, it does. What's going on? It's two for two.
Yeah, 2 for 2. It does not mention episode numbers, but again, TNT, so I would guess maybe 10 at the
Typically
most.
10, yeah.
10 at the most, could be shorter.
Maybe 13 at a push.
I feel like 10's the new 13 though.
Yeah, I get that.
Not been
And
a
I
lot
feel
of
like
13s
I feel
recently.
like we're shifting to 8s and 6s as well. I'm seeing it more and more.
Yeah, it depends what it is. I feel like, yeah, Netflix is definitely shifting to the 8. Obviously, that Relic was 6, but that's different. Look, it's limited. You know, it's a one-off
Yeah,
thing.
but even those, I feel like we're kind of getting like because like you say, it was 13 was the standard, and then you kind of you got a few.
But
10s.
I don't feel like 6 is replacing anything else. So I feel like 6 is just a new thing that we're getting in addition to
Yeah,
the other shows. You know, same with 8 to an extent. You know, because like Night Of, it's its own thing. You know, Netflix are doing it for sure, but
8 is maybe the limited series go to.
yeah. So I don't know, but I'm down. That's the Alienist. So look forward to that. Next up, CW is developing a dramedy called Real Love, which, now, don't get me wrong, I've said CW dramedy called Real Love, and you're probably not that interested at this point.
See, this is the thing. You say this, but this is the CW, and we know for a fact they're getting back towards genre programming. So this has got a twist. Probably a ghost.
It's not a ghost,
Okay.
but reasonable guess.
Stab in the dark. I've seen nothing about this.
Reasonable guess. Real Love is described as a whimsical romantic dramedy centering on a brilliant female programmer who writes the code for the perfect boyfriend, but unexpectedly falls for her creation when he becomes self-aware.
Do you know what? I like this because I'm down for AI stories in general.
I am.
They're fun.
It's funny.
Ooh.
I feel like, just for a second here, I feel like there's been a lot of time travel recently. I'm also starting to feel there's a lot of AI and robots and androids. No, I'm complaining. I love these kind of things, so I'm cool for it. But
what I do think is interesting is rare you see it be the male as the AI. It's usually the guy creating the woman.
It makes sense for CW, though. I feel like CW
does make sense
slightly more female, centric.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does make sense. But you're right. It does tend to be a guy falling for a woman robot. So it's actually nice that it's the other way around.
Yeah.
His stamina must be quite good. He's a robot.
You'd assume so. That's assuming he has a body as well, though.
Maybe we'll get there. Maybe it's all like her at first.
No, forget it. It's a CW. It has to be a hot guy, right?
It'll be a hot guy eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but no, within 6 episodes.
Maybe. I will be impressed if there's not. I'll be impressed if they draw it out longer than that, where it's just a voice for a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, hell, first episode, just text. Just have it be text reading back, and then eventually...
That would be a bold choice.
And then eventually you get a voice, and then eventually a body.
She builds a body, yeah. I'm kind of down for it, though. I mean, I know it's a CW, but it could be fun.
Could be. So let's move on to a Netflix show that's been ordered, 10 episodes. Now, I think it was actually already ordered, but this is the first we've seen of it, so I'm going to do the whole shebang, give you the description and all that. But Regina King has been cast in it. It's called 7 Seconds, and it is a crime drama. It's going to be 10 episodes on Netflix. Tensions run high between the African American citizens and the Caucasian cops of New Jersey. Sorry, not New Jersey, Jersey City. That's me adding words in there. But I see Jersey and I'm like, New Jersey. But no, Jersey City. When a teenage African American boy is critically injured by a cop. So it's very, socially current.
Aware, yeah.
But very of the times. King plays Latrice Butler, a devout churchgoer and a proud wife and mother. After she's moved out of the projects with her family and becomes a first-time homeowner, she is shaken to her core when she learns that her 15-year-old son, Brenton, has been involved in an incident. When she learns that there's more to Brenton than she and her husband were aware of, Latrice is rocked by the power of her anger and at her son's predicament. Her anger that will change her life and her relationship with her husband. I'm sorry that I started in the middle there. My Word document decided to scroll down on its own by about 10 sort of lines, and I had to find the paragraph again.
Right, okay. Well, we just said that neither of us are massively fans of crime dramas in general.
Yeah.
And this one, while it sounds potentially interesting due to, like the social climate,
yeah, I think the relevance of the story gives it potential. I think it being on Netflix gives it potential.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Netflix is what has the draw for me. They've earned goodwill.
Yeah. For me, this all just hinges on the quality. Is it well directed? Is it well written? Is the acting? It's these things that are going to really sell this. Because the plot on its own, well, fine. It could be very dry. It could be very...
It could be just trying to beat you over the head with a message.
Yeah. Whereas if it's well made, then I could see it being really, really good. Because I think if you go back in time and look at a lot of shows that I ended up loving, if you'd have told me the synopsis of the first episode before I watched it, I might have said, that sounds kind of dull.
That's true.
Go back and tell me the plot for Breaking Bad before I watched the first one. Would I have been super excited about it? I don't think so.
No. But I think that's especially true with crime dramas, though. I feel like they're very dry sounding because you just kind of have to give a brief, this is the situation. Again, and they never sell it.
The Night Of example, like before you watch it, you could just hear, guy might have murdered a girl, investigation. Like, this could just be an extended episode of Law and Order for all we know, when we watch it. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, crime dramas live and die on their production values, I think.
Yeah. And just skill, filmmaking, I think
I'm counting that in production value. Like everything behind the scenes that comes together, live and die on that, rather than the actual premise of it.
So potential, but not necessarily super excited for it.
Yeah.
Next up, Sons of Anarchy's spin-off has been the pilot for it's been greenlit at FX. A show that I don't think either of us have ever watched.
I've watched a handful of like half episodes when flatmates had it on in the past.
You weren't drawn into it, I imagine.
Some nice bikes, I guess. I quite like bikes, so but I didn't really watch it. The problem was it was on like season 4 or 5 when I was watching it, so I was catching bits. It's like I have no idea what anything is going on.
Well, it's called Mayans MC, and it focuses on a Mayans motorcycle club. And they're basically just another motorcycle club from a different part of California. They're more towards the south, where the Mexico border is. And it follows a character called Ize Reyes, who is a potential member, and he will struggle with his desire for vengeance against the local cartel and his need for the women in his life to respect him.
Sounds like Sons of Anarchy.
It does. I mean, I've never watched Sons of Anarchy, right? But this sounds really similar to that to me, where I'm like, is this really a spin-off? This feels like just the same show again, but with a different cast
This
of
is the
characters.
thing. If you told me that was just the synopsis for Sons of Anarchy, I wouldn't have questioned it.
Yeah, and this is coming from someone who's never watched it. This just sounds like what that show was. It
Yeah.
sounds like we're just in a different biker gang at a slightly different place.
Which I guess if you like the show, that might be a good thing.
Yeah, maybe. Doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, exactly. But if you watch it and you enjoyed it, then more of the same is usually not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's probably safe to say we won't even bother covering the first episode of this, because I don't think we could offer any opinion on it that would help anyone, because I've never watched the original show. I don't really want to watch the original show.
Yeah.
And I like Ron Perlman, which is saying something that I never checked out.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, maybe I should try it. And it's just like, I just don't care.
So yeah, that's a thing that's happening. So they're shooting that in next year. All right, next up, Fox has put in development a show called High Wire, and it is a drama, of course, and it centers on a Nicole Mora, a 26-year-old fledgling aerialist. That's a really hard word to say for me. Aerialist, who, after suffering the loss of both of her parents, decides to run off and join an innovative startup circ. Which, by the way, up until this point, I was thinking this basically sounds like a Dick Grayson backstory.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Yeah. But
So
anyway,
it's reverse.
working her way up from tent crew to trapeze artist to eventually running an entire cirque of franchise, Nicole will not only have to earn her place in the eccentric, tight-knit family of circuses, she will also have to go head to head with a force of far more formidable than gravity. That's really vague at the end there.
Sorry. A force far more formidable than gravity.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you what it is.
Doesn't tell me what it is. I don't know if it means there's like a feud with other people. I don't know if it means there's a supernatural entity that makes it that's worse than gravity.
That sentence sounds like that should be a force worse than gravity, comma, word, whatever that is,
Full stop.
death. That's just, no. Whoever wrote the synopsis, stop it. Do better.
I have no idea what to think of this one, to be honest.
No, it's hard to judge, isn't it?
It's weird. It's almost like they're prepping this to be a replacement for pitch. So instead of baseball, it's the circus.
Oh, I hope it's not a replacement for pitch.
I hope it's not as well. I want pitch to keep going, but like it kind of fits into that mold where it's like it's not quite a sport, but it's in the ballpark. No pun intended. What do you want from me?
Better than that.
I didn't mean it.
It's no excuse.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It kind of feels like, oh, let's prove herself, be, new at this thing and be good. And it's just, I don't know. Not sure I care. But then again, you probably could have read this out for pitch last year and I'd have said I don't care at all.
Again, yeah, production quality, acting, directing, that kind of thing. Like, do these things, make it interesting. Maybe it'd be good. I don't know, but it's nothing about it screaming to me, "Oh, this is cool! I can't wait for this. This is a great idea." Anyway, let's move on to the last thing in the news this week. NBC is developing an hour-long procedural drama from, funnily enough, Mike Daniels, who worked on Sons of Anarchy. This is untitled, so.
Oh, I mean, I've got to pay attention. I'd already kind of zoned out when I got procedural drama.
Right, okay. So, it explores the complex personal life of a former cop and mother who returns to the force in part to solve the murder of her detective husband. It also says they might be going for a similar kind of tone and vibe to This Is Us, which is also NBC.
Huh.
But, yeah, Here you go. This is the first name that came to my head when I read this synopsis. So she's a
hit me
mother,
with it.
right? She's a mother, goes back to try and solve the crime of her husband, who was a detective, get killed.
Yeah.
Mother Justice.
Oh, I like it.
I like
Oh,
it.
I like it. Don't think I'm topping that one.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
About the show in general, though, I mean, it feels like as a serialized story, I'm down for that premise. As a procedural, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I wonder if they're being really loose with what they mean by procedural, because it doesn't sound like a procedural plot.
No.
I mean, I can see how there'll be procedural elements, that she'll probably have a case each week that she has to solve, but she's got this thing ongoing.
Depends how much of a focus they are, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, are they 60% of the episode, 70% of the episode, and then there's the side bits where she's working on this other thing, or is it like the other like the real thing here that is the bulk of the story, and then it's like, oh, I've got to work on this case, it's a distraction.
Yeah. I don't know.
The This Is Us tone sounds kind of weird for this sort of show as well. I wouldn't have called that at all.
Yeah.
Sounds unique, I guess.
Yeah, it says, in the vein of NBC's This Is Us, the show will use its procedural storylines to examine the humanity of its victims, the perpetrators and innocent people affected by crime, you know?
See, now I feel like it's going to be really procedural. Like, it's really going to lean into that and do, like, really look into each person.
Yeah, maybe.
And I'm just not sure I can be asked with that.
If it ends up actually, making it to air, we'll check out the
We'll
first
watch
episode.
it, I'm sure. It doesn't. See, this is the thing. It doesn't even sound bad. It kind of sounds vaguely interesting, but I'm not sure I care enough to get properly invested into
Honestly,
any procedural right now.
If there's a problem with my title for it, is that it makes it sound much more interesting than it might be.
Yeah, that makes it sound like some sort of like revenge hits, Hitman sort of thing.
Yeah. So it sounds like something like from like an 80s movie or something. Mother Justice.
Sounds like a proper action fest.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to be that.
I still like it though.
I do as well.
Oh dear. That's the last thing in the news this week then. So let us know what you thought of any of those news items in the comments below if you're excited for any of those shows. Otherwise though, guys, what was your favourite show of the week, Connor? Favourite episode?
I am going to cheat a little bit, I think.
The crossover was the
No, interestingly. I'm going to cheat and just say 3%.
Okay, alright. Okay.
I think I didn't really know what I was expecting when I went into it. I didn't even watch a trailer. I just knew the kind of very general premise and, the director. And then it was really great and I really enjoyed it.
No, I think that's a good. I actually kind of wasn't even considering the 3%. Like I just because it wasn't a weekly episode of something.
Yeah, no,
it went out of my head.
I thought that's why I'll give it its props now because it'll never get this chance again.
True.
So I'll give it its shout out. Yes, it's Brazilian. Yes, it's all foreign language and subtitled. But go and watch it anyway. It's great.
It's good. Yeah, eight episodes, really, really good on Netflix. As much as I almost want to double that praise. Westworld this week was, Westworld this week had me grinning from ear to ear for like most of the episode. My jaw was sore by the end of it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I can't argue with this. It's a good week for TV, actually, if you think about it, because we had that, and then we did have the DC crossover, which, while maybe not amazing, it's just so much fun seeing these characters together that we love.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It doesn't compare to like something like Westworld or even 3%, where it's a bit deeper. It's got a bit more meat in the bone. But for fun, for the candy sort of branch of our TV viewing.
It's like that's like the dessert, isn't it? Like you got 3% Westworld. They're like your main course. You really get stuck in, and then it's like, oh, I can relax now and have some ice cream, whatever, some cake, whatever you want.
I do like cake. Cake's great. I love cake. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Westworld. But it was a pretty good week for TV. Not a whole lot to be majorly disappointed in this week, so that's good. Nothing new coming next week. Most of the shows though are having their final episodes before Christmas. In some cases that's maybe the end of the season. In many cases though it's just the mid-season finale, so That's a lot of that coming next week, but nothing new. And then the week after that, we go into this weird period of like not a lot on for Christmas. But of course, the one thing I suppose of note for next week is that Incorporated episode 2 is on, and we will be reviewing that. The reason why I'm mentioning that, of course, is because episode 1 we reviewed early because they aired it early. Because episode 1 premiered properly this past week. So.
And also coming, of course, is the Westworld finale. So.
Yeah, Westworld
big
finale.
stuff. We will be having a massive dissection, I'm sure, because we have done pretty much every week.
And the finale is 90 minutes long. It's an extra long episode.
Exactly. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We could be here a while.
We really could be. And this is in a week where we went 40 minutes on both Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, which is kind of unheard of.
I can't remember the last time we went even 20 minutes on Arrow.
Yeah. I know, to be fair, we did hit 25 minutes on Arrow quite frequently.
Yeah, but how much of that is my drunk rambling?
A lot of it, to be fair. But, you know, we do tend to find enough to complain about that we fill that time.
True.
Yeah. But, yeah, busy week. A lot of our reviews were long this week because there was just so much to talk about. But typically our philosophy is if we've got stuff to say, we'll keep talking until we're finished.
Yeah. The reason that they're long is because there's stuff to talk about, which is usually just a good thing. Unless it's talking about it being awful, which case...
Honestly, there's nothing worse than me watching an episode of a TV show and I feel like I've got nothing to say because it was just such a typical generic episode of whatever the show was where I'm like, these things advanced.
And it does happen sometimes, and it's annoying when it does because it's like, I want something good to talk about. I want a good discussion, and we got that this week off pretty much everything.
Yeah, so... Yeah, good week of TV. Even if you don't necessarily like everything that was on, it's a good week for TV in the sense that we're all talking about it and getting some interesting points across. So, yeah, that's sort of the plan. Obviously, we're nearing the end of the year. There will be a end of 2015 sort of favourite TV.
2015?
2016, sorry.
Oh, you pulled a me.
No one gets that reference. That is...
I don't care.
That show doesn't even exist anymore.
I get that reference. That made me happy.
There's a difference between me saying the wrong thing once and you actively getting the wrong news from the wrong year.
Look, in the same sense that I was then and you are now, we were one number off. That's it. One digit.
No. Right, for people who are wondering what we're talking about right now, we used to talk about video games as well on a weekly basis, and Connor used to be the one who got the news for the video games, and he got the top 10 games for that week, and he told us the games, and by the time we got towards all 10 games, we're like, wait a minute, are you sure this is from this year? Because all the games, like, he had like the FIFA from the opposite year, and he had like
the problem was it came out on the week where you have Call of Duty, FIFA, Destiny was in there, and it was the week we just had the Destiny expansion, so I thought I'll just be bunching it all together. It had everything that you typically have in that week. I'm guessing it was November just because it was this
basically, we were making fun of Connor for weeks and weeks and weeks because of this, and that's why he's so excited that I just said the wrong year, even though all I did was have a slip of the tongue.
I'm going to take my victory where I can.
Nah. No. Anyway, it's getting towards the end of the year, so we will have a best of 2016, like our favourites. We'll do top fives. We'll probably do like a little awards show kind of thing where, you know, best news show, best cable show, you know, all that sort of stuff. And worst of the, worst news shows. What new pilots did we watch that, left us with nightmares and things like that. So that will something that's coming up probably before Christmas, I will say. Yeah. Because, like we say, most of a couple of things are running through Christmas, but most of the stuff is ending next week.
What have we got running through Christmas? We've got Incorporated. I think
that's the only thing that's actually running straight through. Everything else that we've got during the Christmas break is, we get Man in the High Castle, which is just from Amazon. That's just, that
season 2. Yeah, we got that coming.
Yeah, and we're going to catch up on The Expanse, possibly The Magicians. We've not committed to that, but if we've got time before
we have
back,
the Doctor Who Christmas special, of course.
If I catch up,
of course, it's on air now. You gotta catch up.
It's taken me almost a month to watch 4 episodes, but we'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, we'll have the new season of Sherlock.
We'll have the new season of Sherlock. That's obviously starts around New Year's every year, so I think it's New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, yeah.
So you can look forward to that. But yeah, so we'll probably have the end of year special before Christmas for TV, because we can basically get that done after next week. So look forward to that. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling here at the end, but thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure. I always enjoy the news show because it's more relaxed. We don't have to. I don't have to.
Basically, just seeing how many times we can insult each other, isn't it?
It kind of is that. I also I feel like, not that I feel pressure so much, but when I watch a TV show, I want to try and analyze it. I want to actually bring something that people appreciate, that they heard a bit of insight. Even if it's wrong, or even. But with the news, I just get to say words wrong and make fun of Connor.
And hope that I sometimes at some point will get more news about my Mermaid War show. One day. Yeah, we'll get news of that in a couple of weeks, that it's not going forward. That'll be the news. See, this is the thing. Every time I bring it up, I'm waiting for you to go, yes, we do have news. It's dead. That's just what I'm waiting for. What, the war is over.
Dear. Anyway, guys, that has been this week's news. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot if you do. Let us know what you thought of all the new shows and news items in this week's thing, and tell us what your favourite episode of TV of the week was. I'm curious to hear that as well. But yeah, thanks very much, guys. We will see you next time.